I'm looking for our Commissioner Washington. There she is, wearing red, just as Madam Vice Chair. I'm loving it. So this is the Prince George's County Planning Board is now in session. I have said this every week, but today is March 31st, and this is really and truly and absolutely positively my last planning board day. And I'm so thankful to be here and so thankful to everyone. And I wanted to take a moment to to explain to everyone, because a lot of people weren't familiar with the process. So by law, I continue to serve until my successor is appointed by the executive, confirmed by the county council, and then sworn in by the clerk of the court. So steps 2 and 3 have happened. The wonderful Peter Shapiro, who was a former county council person, director of the Revenue Authority for Prince George's County, who has done so much, worked with the Council of Governments, who has done so much, has been appointed as the new planning board chair, has been confirmed by the county council this past Tuesday, and he will assume this role when he gets sworn in tomorrow, April 1st. And so we're really happy for him. And I wanted to close out by saying thank you to everyone. My first day of retirement is going to be a special day for me. That will be officially Monday, which is very special to me. And I'm so happy. And I want to wish my successor, the new planning board chair, Peter Shapiro, all the best. Embrace him. I know our staff will embrace him and guide him and be there as a resource in every, and you will be in good hands. So I depart by saying thank you. It's been the privilege of a lifetime, and I intend to, since I've said goodbye for like 4 or 5 consecutive weeks, I'm going to pass the baton to our illustrious, inimitable vice chair, who is going to get us through planning board today. So congratulations, Peter. Thank you, everyone. I am turning this baton over to Vice Chair Bailey, who absolutely has this. So thank you, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair, still. I'm Dorothy Bailey, Vice Chair of the Prince George's County Planning Board of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. The Planning Board is now in session for Thursday, March 31st, 2022, our 85th virtual meeting since the onset of the pandemic in March 2020. As we continue business and operations and planning functions to propel Prince George's County forward in a safe environment, I would like to take a moment to remind everyone of the participation guidelines for our hearing. I also want to just stop for a moment and share with you that recently I asked some members of the planning board to give me a word to describe Betty Hewlett. They were all anxious to participate in this activity, and I will just share with you, before we get started today, the words they used. Now, believe it or not, the only person I was asked them to give me just one word, and surprisingly, Sharnice, the only person who gave me one word was Commissioner Giraldo. Who's usually the wordy one. Giraldo said that Betty Hewlett is a leader. Well, Donna said she has invested completely in every undertaking, not only in Prince George's County, but across this country. Shanice Washington said she's magnanimous, generous to everyone. She gives great gifts, big-hearted, unselfish. I asked for one word, and because she's still going on. She's also a generous spirit. And of course, I didn't follow my own instructions. I said that Betty Hewlett is passionate, kind. She likes to give service to other people. And definitely, she's been of service to this county. Chair Hewlett, it has been my delight to serve with you. my honor, and my pleasure. And so we're going to let the celebrations begin. They've already begun. I worked for many years with a lady named Dorothy Height, and some of you may recognize that name. She worked as a national leader with the YWCA, and she was also the national president of the National Council of the Negro Women. I served on that national board, and I was one of approximately 50 women across the country that she talked with on a regular basis. She would get up very early in the morning.
She's not following up on it. But all I did was this
And
program
so,
activity code.
I don't know where that is coming from.
She did it for others, but didn't do it for others.
What is it? Okay, we will continue now. But I was talking about Dorothy Height and my work with her. And Dorothy Height had a story that she used to tell all of us. And she would say, if I take my hand and I just point one finger, just use one finger, you think that you've been touched, but you're not sure what happened. But if I take all of those fingers, roll them together, I can deliver a mighty blow. And that's what Betty Hewlett has done for this county. She has delivered a mighty blow of integrity, honesty, fairness, generosity, and plain old-fashioned respect and love of this county. I am going to miss her tremendously. And I'm sure that I speak on behalf of all of my colleagues, that we are going to miss Betty Hewlett without a doubt. But guess what? For Betty Hewlett, I know the best is still yet to come. All righty, so now let me see if I can follow the instructions that she's laid out for me. She's told me what to say and what to do, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to follow it. All righty, we have the speaker pre-registration and pre-submission, and comments exhibits are required for much of this. Reminder of the deadline. All participants must pre-register, and all materials or exhibits, if any, must be submitted by 12 noon on the Tuesday before the planning board meeting is shown on the screen, announcing weekly meetings, posted on our website, and clearly stated in bold red on all published weekly planning board agenda. Registered speakers and presenters can join the meeting with the link provided by email from the planning board office, or may listen or participate by phone utilizing the call-in provided by email. Of course, the public may continue to watch planning board meetings streamed live, or if you wish to become a person of record, you may sign up on our online web form. Please note the screen for instructions. Prince George's County, we have a few announcements. Effective April 1, the Planning Board Department will implement a new sign templates for on-site posting of development and activities for the new zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations. For details, visit this web address listed on the screen. Placemaking Suitland, slide 2. I'm reading everything on this sheet. The planning board and partners will bring life to the Suitland Regional Transit District. Placemaking Suitland, a 2-day placemaking demonstration will take place Friday, April 8th and Saturday, April 9th. Volunteers will transform a parking lot into an arts-filled plaza with vibrant sidewalk life. See link on screen for registration and more details. Fun. All right, let's see the next screen. We have everything up there that we need. All righty, I've lost my agenda. Okay, I think we're now ready for the item 2 on our agenda. The draft minutes from March 24th.
Move approval, Madam Chair.
Is there a second?
Your Honor, second.
I have a motion and a second. Let's see. Ms. Washington,
Vote aye.
Mr. Giraldo,
Vote aye.
Mr. Dorner.
Vote aye.
Okay, motion carries 4-0. Okay. All right, 3C, Park and Recreation items, the operating budget expenditure requests, and that's Clifton Brown. Mr. Brown?
Good morning, all. My name is Clifton Brown, and I am the acting budget manager for the Prince George's County Department of Parks and Recreation. Based on our January budget projections, the department is projected to yield a total net savings of $21.6 million among all funds. We project savings of $10.1 million in the park fund among all operating categories, including support services. In the recreation fund, the department projects to realize a savings of $9.1 million among all operating categories, including support services. Due to projected savings in the categories of supplies and materials and other services and charges, there will not be a need to use personnel savings to cover non-personnel requests. The department projects to realize an expenditure savings of $2.4 million in the enterprise fund. However, due to forecasted revenue shortfalls largely attributed to COVID-19 impact on our operations, the projected fund net loss is $686,956. There is no request to use personnel savings to pay for non-personnel needs. We are here today to seek Planning Board authorization to use a portion of the park fund projected savings, primarily comprised of forecasted personnel savings, to help fund the purchase of equipment items and major maintenance projects. The department's challenge is to maintain existing service levels and an aging infrastructure while responding to demand for increased services. The acquisition of the high priority and essential items detailed in our request that you've received will allow us to expeditiously address some of the concerns that have been raised by the public with some of our amenities that we offer. We thank you for your consideration of this request.
Okay. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Brown. All right. Is there a motion?
Move approval, Madam Chair, to transfer the funds
Dorner, second.
as requested.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Washington?
I think she has to log off and back on. She was having some connection issues, Madam Chair. So if you want, we can just take her as maybe an abstention from the vote and vote ourselves. I think we still have quorum.
Okay. Commissioner Giraldo?
Vote aye.
Commissioner Dorner?
Vote aye.
That's 3. I vote aye, and that's 3. Ms. Washington isn't available to vote right now. She's having an issue with her computer. So thank you very much. Motion carries 3-0. Mr. Brown, thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Next item, we have the consent agenda. Items 4B and 4C.
Since no one seems to wish to oppose the staff's recommendation on items 4A and 4C, and I don't know, and it doesn't seem as if any board member wishes to discuss any items, and after consideration of the record for items number 4B and 4C, I move adoption of the staff findings and approval of the items on the consent agenda in accordance with the recommendation of our staff.
Dorner, seconds.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Washington? She is on
Vote
there.
aye.
Okay. Mr. Giraldo?
Vote aye, Madam Chair.
Mr. Dorner?
Vote aye.
Okay, motion carries 4-0. All righty, we're now down to, lost my page. Item 8. Jill Kosak here?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'm on. Madam Vice Chair, I'm on.
Okay, thank you. Jill?
Yes, item 8, we have a resolution for CDP 2101 Parkland Rock Creek. And there were no issues. Staff recommends approval of the resolution.
Okay.
Move approval, Madam Vice Chair.
Second,
We have a motion second for approval. Ms. Washington,
Vote aye.
Mr. Geraldo,
vote aye, Madam.
Mr. Dorner.
Vote aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Next item then, vacation petition. This is staff reviewer. Item
Hi, Madam
5.
Chair. Yeah, hi, Madam Chair. This is James Hunt with the Development Review Division for the record. I wanted to take a quick opportunity before the Planning Board this morning, before we get started with this vacation petition, and introduce Masa Vatendust. She's our new planner too within the subdivision section. Masa comes to us as she's a land planner, land planning background from Ben Dyer and Associates. Also, she began working with the Planning Commission back in August 24th on 2020, I should say. Her educational background, she's got a degree, a bachelor's degree, from the University of, a master's degree in city and regional planning from Tehran University in Tehran, Iran. Also, she has a master's degree from the University of Maryland, College Park in community planning. One fun fact about Masa with us today, she loves cooking and loves creating new recipes. So just wanted to take a quick moment and introduce Masa to the Planning Board today.
Thank you. Welcome, Masa, and we look forward to helping you taste your products. We look forward to that. Welcome to the planning
Oh,
board.
yeah, we,
Okay. All right.
Madam Vice Chair,
It's
you
with-
should confirm now that Mr. Dingles and Mr. Johnson.
Yes,
are on the call.
thank you. Is Mr. Gingos here?
I'm present, Madam Vice Chairman.
Mr. Gingos is here. Okay.
Mark Johnson.
And Mark Johnston. I'm not paying attention. Okay, Mark.
I'm here, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
All righty. So now we go back to the presenter. I'm not sure we can hear you. I think you're muted. Can we unmute?
No.
She is unmuted now?
Madam Chair, this is James Hunt again. It sounds like we're having some tech issues with Masa's sound. If you would like, we can go to the next case, and while we work with Masa on that sound, if you like, Madam Vice Chair.
Okay, we can go to the next one then. That would be item 6. Is Rachel on?
Yes, Madam Vice Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, I see you now. Antonetti, Robert,
Yes, Madam Vice Chair, I'm present.
okay. And we do have several speakers listed. I don't know if they're available just for information, but Arthur Horn.
I'm here with Arthur Horn. Madam
Okay.
Vice Chair.
What about Justin Valdez, John Jerkerson, Christina Lebele, Jessica McCorn.
Madam Vice Chair, they're all with the applicant and are here to answer any questions after the case in chief is presented.
Okay, then you're on then, Mr. Antonetti.
Actually, Ms. Glenn.
Who is that?
Initials with start.
Who's that?
She's the plan app.
Gwen is Miss Rachel. Gwen is on?
Yes.
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, thank you,
Yes,
Madam
yes.
Vice Chair.
And Madam Chair, this is James Hunt again. Before you get started, Rachel, I wanted to take a quick moment to let the planning board know this is Rachel's last planning board date. She has taken a position with the National Park Service, but I wanted to take an opportunity, I know Jill's on as well, to really thank Rachel for all the hard work she has done with the planning department. When she came on board, everyone, she came in with us and just hit the ground running with some very, very difficult cases. She's done a phenomenal job doing her presentations. She has a great working relationship with our planning, our developers, our attorneys that we work with all the time. Not only that, with staff, she is phenomenal, and she is truly going to be missed here with the planning department. Jill, did you have some other things you wanted to add in there?
I just wanted to thank Rachel very much for her positive energy, her willingness to accept challenges in the short time she's been here. Thank her for all of her hard work. She will be missed, but we wish her much luck in her future endeavors. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you very much. And we do wish you well. Okay, but now we'll hear from you.
Great, thank you. Yes, I do want to, I mean, words are kind of inadequate to address how much I appreciate the opportunities I've had while I've been here, and it's been such a wonderful experience for me, and I'm very sad to leave, especially so quickly, but over the past few years, I've gotten very passionate about making sure our outdoor spaces are more inclusive of all types of people. So the National Park Service is going to be a great avenue for me to do that. So I'm really excited. And again, thank everyone for everything. It's been wonderful to work here. So I will get started with the presentation. Good morning, Madam Vice Chair and members of the Planning Board. For the record, I am Rachel Gwynn with the Urban Design section. The item before you is item 6, Specific Design Plan SDP-2101 for Locust Hill Architecture. This application proposes 31 single-family detached architectural models as an umbrella architectural approval for the Locust Hill development. The applicant has provided revisions to one condition and added one condition as shown in Applicant Exhibit 1, and staff has no opposition to these revisions. Next slide, please. The subject property is in Planning Area 79 and Council District 6. Next slide, please. Outlined in red, the 505.81 acre subject site is located on the north and south sides of Oak Grove Road, west of its intersection with Leland Road. Next slide, please. The site is bounded to the north by the Oak Creek Club subdivision in the residential low development RL zone. To the northeast is Leland Road, and beyond are the National Capital Business Park and the Collington Corporate Center in the residential suburban development RS, light industrial I1, and employment and institutional area EIA zone. To the east is the Beech Tree subdivision in the RS zone, and to the south are single-family detached homes in the residential estate RE zone. To the west are developed residential properties in the RS zone, the Perrywood development, and the St. Barnabas Church and Cemetery historic site in the residential agricultural zone, and the Queen Anne Parish property in the RE zone. Next slide, please. This aerial image shows that the subject site is mostly undeveloped with woodlands and wetlands on site. Next slide, please. As shown on this topographic map, the site features steep and irregular slopes and wetland areas east of the railroad tracks running through the east side of the site. Next slide, please. Oak Grove Road is a major collector roadway shown in light blue, which currently runs through the site. The alignment of Oak Grove Road and its intersection with Church Road, a collector roadway, will be reconstructed to serve the Locust Hill development. Oak Grove Road connects to the east to Leland Road, also shown in light blue as a collector road, and beyond is Robert Crane Highway, shown in red and orange as an arterial and freeway. To the west is Watkins Park Road, an arterial shown in red, and Largo Road, an expressway shown in purple. Next slide, please. The subject proposal includes 31 models for single-family detached dwelling units, and future SDPs will include townhomes and carriage homes as approved under Comprehensive Design Plan CDP-0506 and Preliminary Plan of Subdivision PPS 4-06075. The single-family detached lots noted with red dots will incorporate high visibility side elevations with additional architectural details. A condition has been included in the staff report to require highly visible side elevations to include at least 3 architectural features in addition to a masonry water table. Next slide, please. The next slides show renderings of the 31 single-family detached models from 3 builders, 8 models by Toll Brothers, 11 models by Ryan Homes, and 12 models by NV Homes. Each model has at least 3 different elevation variations with finishes including brick, stone, vinyl, shake siding, shutters, specialty windows, stone or brick water tables, and porches. High-quality architectural detail options are also offered on all models, such as brickjack arches, dormers, cornices, and front entries defined with columns, transom, and sidelight windows. Models range in size from 1,421 to 4,290 square feet in base finished area. The models were chosen to provide a variety of size and cost points to ensure a diverse neighborhood development as required by CDP-0506. 3 lot sizes are provided for single-family detached units, small, medium, and large, and each model will be located on a compatibly sized lot, as noted by the chart on the bottom right of this slide. This model, the Cook by Toll Brothers, is 2,539 square feet with a 2-car garage and will be located on small-sized lots. All Toll Brothers models come in 4 elevation options: traditional, Brandywine, Fairview, shown here, and farmhouse. Staff notes that several Toll Brothers side elevations show no architectural features, and a condition has been included that all side elevations will include at least 2 architectural features per elevation. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Fallon model by Toll Brothers, which is 2,685 square feet with a 2-car garage and will be located on small-sized lots. The staff report includes a condition to require at least 50% of the total number of single-family detached units to have full brick or stone facades. The applicant has requested a revision to this condition, and staff has no opposition. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Gibson model, which is 3,242 square feet with a 2- or 3-car garage and will be located on medium or large-sized lots. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Haddon model by Toll Brothers, which is 3,397 square feet with a 2- or 3-car garage and will be located on medium or large-sized lots. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Kincaid model, which is 3,071 square feet with a 2-car garage and will be located on small-sized lots. Next slide, please. This is the Laughlin model, which is 3,644 square feet with a 2- or 3-car garage and will be located on medium or large-sized lots. Next slide, please. This is the Roberts model, which is 3,884 square feet with a 2- or 3-car garage and will be located on medium or large-sized lots. Next slide, please. This is the Tilden model, which is 3,171 square feet with a 2- or 3-car garage and will be located on medium-sized lots. Next slide, please. The next slides show the 11 models by Ryan Homes, which will all be located on small-sized lots. This is the Alberti Ranch model, which comes in 4 elevation options and is 1,421 square feet with a 2-car garage. Next slide, please. This is the Ballinger model, which comes in 5 elevation options and is 2,114 square feet with a 2-car garage. Next slide, please. This is the Bermonti Ranch model, which comes in 4 elevation options and is 1,666 square feet with a 2-car garage. The Bermonti model also comes in a 2-story option, which is 2,324 square feet. Next slide, please. This is the Columbia model, which comes in 5 elevation options and is 2,424 square feet with a 2- or 3-car garage. Next slide, please. This is the Hudson model, which comes in 5 elevation options and is 2,718 square feet with a 2- or 3-car garage. Next slide, please. The Lehigh model comes in 5 elevation options, and is 3,010 square feet with a 2- or 3-car garage. Next slide, please. This is the Palladio Ranch model, which comes in 4 elevation options and is 1,947 square feet with a 2-car garage. The Palladio model also comes with a 2-story option that is 2,626 square feet. Next slide, please. This is the Seneca model, which comes in 5 elevation options and is 3,306 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage. Next slide, please. This is the York model, which comes in 5 elevation options and is 3,656 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage. Next slide, please. And the next slides show the 12 models by NV Homes. This is the Baldwin model, which comes in 5 elevation options, is 3,049 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage and will be located on small sized lots. Next slide, please. This is the Bridgewater model, which comes in 5 elevation options, is 3,242 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. This is the Danville model, which comes in 5 elevation options, is 3,343 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage and will be located on small sized lots. Next slide, please. The Edgewood model comes in 3 elevation options, is 2,098 square feet with a 2 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. The Fairhaven model comes in 3 elevation options, is 2,324 square feet with a 2 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. The Longwood model comes in 5 elevation options, is 3,531 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. The Marymount model comes in 5 elevation options, is 3,820 square feet with a 2, 3, or 4 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. The Radford model comes in 5 elevation options, is 3,869 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. This is the Stonehill model, which comes in 3 elevation options, is 2,738 square feet with a 2 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. This is the Stratford Hall model, which comes in 5 elevation options, is 4,290 square feet with a 2, 3, or 4 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. The Tyler model comes in 5 elevation options, is 3,641 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage and will be located on small size lots. Next slide, please. This is the Westminster model, which comes in 3 elevation options, is 3,031 square feet with a 2 or 3 car garage and will be located on medium or large size lots. Next slide, please. The site plans and elevations require technical corrections and architectural enhancements as noted in the staff report. With that, the urban design section recommends that the planning board adopt the findings and conditions of the technical staff report and approve specific design plan SDP-2101 for Locust Hill architecture. As stated previously, the applicant has provided revisions to conditions and staff has no opposition to these revisions. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Quinn. Are there any questions, commissioners?
Yeah, I have a question, Madam Vice Chair.
All righty. Since we have no question, we'll turn to
Madam Vice Chair, can I ask you a question real quick?
yes.
Ms. Quinn, so I'm looking at the slides look really great. Like the architectural treatments are extremely impressive. Like just looking at the Stonehill front elevation is really neat just to see all like kind of the architectural elements on it. It's quite clean. I did notice though that some of the as you're kind of flipping through, there's kind of like etched in or kind of grayer treatments, and I can't really tell on my screen. Are those just proposals of where they would go on the side elevations? Because there are some like right here on slide 17, the Alberti Ranch. I noticed like the Columbia 22, the Marymount and 30, or 20 on the Columbia, Marymount and the 32, Westminster and 38 only have 2 side treatments or 2 treatments on the side views. And I was wondering if those are just sort of goofs on the artist renditions, or if we're going to see more, particularly like on this one, if it's just like it's almost like a peephole window right there. It's not really much, and the rest of the features look awesome on these homes, but then there's just a couple of sort of side elevations that I think could use a little bit more attention, that I'm hoping maybe you've already addressed the applicant, or maybe Mr. Antonetti can go into more detail.
Yes, thank you for the question, Commissioner Dorner. So the elevations that show kind of ghosted in architectural features, all those ghosted features are options. So the owner could decide to put in all of them, or we have included in the staff report that each elevation needs to have at least, each standard side elevation needs to have at least 2 architectural features. So this elevation on this slide at the bottom, that only has 1. So we are requiring at least 1 more architectural feature to that. And then on the high visibility side elevations, there will be at least 3 architectural features, such as windows plus a water table. And I believe, and the applicant can also speak to more to the kind of minimum level of architectural features per side elevation.
Okay, great. Thank you. I appreciate it. No other questions from me, Madam Vice Chair.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. All right, Ms. Antonetti.
Good morning, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Planning Board. For the record, my name is Robert Antonetti with the law firm of Shipley and Horn. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. As always, I am just reminded of how special and how effective this board is, the staff is. When I hear this is the 85th virtual hearing since the start of the pandemic, it is just a true testament to the determination of this group and this agency to continue to do the work of the county and move the county forward. It's also a testament to Chair Elizabeth Hewlett, someone who is, I'm glad I had the opportunity just to say just a few words of my gratitude for her leadership. Personally, she's a very special person to me, as she is to many of you. I wasn't asked to provide a word for her, and I couldn't just pick one, so that's a hard task. But you know, she is the personification of kindness, integrity, dignity, and fun. Those would be 4 words that I would pick. I've known her my entire professional life in many different capacities, and it's just an absolute blessing to be associated with her. I wish her the best in retirement, although I suspect it's more of a sabbatical, not a retirement. I can't wait to see what her next steps will be. So I just want to publicly offer my congratulations to her and my best wishes for the future. Today, we're here representing WVLH LLC regarding this detailed site plan for architecture pertaining to the single-family detached offerings at Locust Hill. Today with me, I do have my esteemed partner, Arthur J. Horn, our land planner and senior paralegal, Mr. John Ferrante, and we also, on behalf of the applicant, we have Ms. Jessica McMahon, Market Land Manager with NVR Inc., Christina Lemley with Toll Architecture on behalf of Toll Brothers, and Ms. Dawn Jorgensen, Assistant Regional Director with ESE Consultants, the civil engineers on the project. I'd like to thank Rachel Gwynn for her thorough review and collaborative approach to processing this application. I wish her the best in her next position. She is incredibly thorough, incredibly competent. If I were you, Madam Vice Chair, I'd lock the office doors, let the air out of her tires. You should not let her leave. But if she must leave, I also wish her the best. She's going to do phenomenally well wherever she goes. As you heard today, we're here for a specific design plan for 31 single-family detached models offered within Locust Hill. Just for a little bit of a reminder, WVLH LLC is a joint partnership between Toll Brothers and NVR Inc. Both Toll and NVR Inc. under its companies NV Homes and Ryan Homes are participants and will be providing structures within this project as shown on the slideshow presented by staff. It is a phenomenal range of house architecture, sizes, lot sizes as well, ultimately, which really will capture a great segment of the market and will be a wonderful place for existing and future residents of Prince George's County to live. For those of you who likely decided and weighed in on the basic plan amendment that was approved for this project. One of the conditions required that special attention be given to the design of the project to ensure the site provides various lot sizes, house types, and architectural design that is compatible with surrounding land uses. I think, as you can see from this slideshow, and as Mr. Dorner mentioned, this is a great variety of home types, each special, unique, and although they may be different sizes, each one denotes a special quality and has a special representation within this community and within the overall real estate market. I will say that we believe this umbrella architecture proposal in this application really represents an appropriate and attractive variety of single-family detached dwellings. It meets all of the criteria for the approval of a specific design plan as set forth in the county zoning ordinance. We do support the findings of staff and conditions of approval with a few exceptions. And we had submitted essentially 3 exhibits, and an exhibit 1, which are slightly revised conditions, and then we have submitted an exhibit 2 and an exhibit 3, which may be in your backup materials, hopefully. While exhibit 1 represents some slight modifications to conditions, which I can go over, I will state that context for those changes are reflected in exhibit 2 and exhibit 3, which deal with the percentage of brick or stone in the front facade, excluding gables, dormers, windows, trim, and doors. So essentially, as you've seen, the variety of architecture is, while it's attractive, it also represents more current trends in the market. Both Toll and MVR Inc., MV Homes, Ryan Homes, they reflect quality and presence in the fronts of their homes, not just by masonry materials, i.e. stone or brick, but also by the sheer number of architectural features and interests that is created by those features. And I see the backups being brought up. Exhibit 2 Exhibit 2 is it shows a percentage of brick that's offered or in stone on certain models that were already included in the application that's before you, and it shows that these certain models have 75% or more of brick or stone in their front facade, and combined with the architectural features and the interest created by those features, we feel that that meets the spirit and intent of having quality materials and quality front facades in terms of brick and stone. So we had asked that a condition be added that certain specified elevations have at least 75% brick or stone front facade, and that such front facades count towards the 50% requirement that all single-family detached units, 50% of them within the project, have a full brick or stone front facade. So those that have 75% or greater, and those are being shown in front there, that they count in that regard. So after speaking with staff, they are in agreement with that change and supportive. So we would ask that the planning board support such a change to the proposed condition 1F. I will also state that applicants exhibit 3, dealing specifically with the Toll House architecture. Toll offers in their single-family detached an elevation called the Modern Farmhouse. And the Modern Farmhouse is a very popular model. It's reflective of an evolution of Toll's architecture, and it involves a variety of materials and architectural treatments. It also involves things such as vertical siding as opposed to horizontal siding. And what we're asking here is that in that exhibit 3 is we wanted to show that Toll is in the process of adding 75% or more to its modern farmhouse elevations. If you could just go up just the slide you just missed. Yes, please. That's an example of revised elevations. The blue is areas that will include stone. Right now, the submitted elevations show a stone water table, for lack of a better term, in the front of the modern farmhouse elevations. Toll is in the process, but we couldn't get them fully rendered for this hearing because it takes a bit to have them rendered. We want to submit with certification the updated modern farmhouse elevation showing the areas in blue having stone. So we did want to include that exhibit as a placeholder and give you an idea of what that will look like moving forward if you were to support this application, which we hope you will. So with that, I'd like to just briefly go through the condition changes very briefly on applicant's exhibit 1. And for those, hopefully you have it in your backup, and wait a second to see if it can be brought to the screen. There we go. So Madam Vice Chair, if it's appropriate, I'll just briefly go through these conditions.
Please do. Great.
Okay, thank you. So what's shown in blue and underlined represents new language. Any strike through is shown with a strike through, although I don't believe there is any in these changes. Condition 1F, we added the language at least 50% of the total number of single-family detached units shall have full brick or stone. And we put it in parentheses, excluding gables, dormers, bay windows, trim, and doors for front facades. A new sentence is, notwithstanding the aforementioned language, the following front elevations consisting of a minimum of 75% brick or stone, excluding gables, dormers, bay windows, trim, and doors, shall be deemed a full front facade, counting towards the 50% requirements in this condition. And the elevations specified there are the ones that are in the applicant's exhibit 2 and 3. And it also includes the modern farmhouse elevations, which we showed just a second ago. We also added a condition 1G, which states the applicant may submit revised elevations reflecting conformance with the minimum percentage of brick or stone facades set forth in condition 1F herein. So that allows us to submit those updated elevations as we've noted, particularly in applicant's exhibit 3. So with those changes, again, we believe this application meets all the requirements for approval of a specific design plan. We're very excited about moving forward with Locust Hill. We urge the planning board's support of this application with the conditions as recommended or as amended in applicant's exhibit 1. We do thank you for your consideration, and our team here is available to answer any questions that you may have. And thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Are there any questions, commissioners? I don't see. Okay, I do hear someone. Is that no questions?
No, I said I have none.
Okay. All right. We don't have any other speakers on our list today, and so Mr. Giraldo?
No,
No questions.
Madam Vice Chair, this is
No
Commissioner
question.
Washington. This is
Yes.
Commissioner Washington, and I move that we adopt the findings of staff and approve SDP 2101 along with the conditions as outlined in staff's report and is further amended by applicant exhibit number 1. And I would like to, under discussion, wish you well, Ms. Glenn. Thank you so much for everything.
Just point of clarification before seconding the motion. Can we table it for a second just to make sure Ms. Gwynn is okay with the applicant recommendations?
She said she was.
That she was, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Staff feels that the revised condition still meets the code requirement for the 50% brick, which will keep it in context with the neighborhood.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Ms. Gwynn, and good luck. Second motion.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Washington.
And vote aye.
Mr. Giraldo,
Vote aye.
Mr. Dorner,
Vote
Commissioner
aye.
Dorner. Okay, we have a motion and we have 4-0. Congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair.
Let's go back to item 5. Let's see. Yeah, it is 5.
Good morning, Madam Vice.
Mr. Gingos, are you on?
I'm on.
Okay, great.
Good morning,
Good.
Madam.
Every time you start, someone else starts, okay? Let's try again.
Good morning, Madam Vice Chair and members of the Planning Board. For the record, I'm Mahsa Tandus with the Subdivision Section. Before you is item number 5, a vacation petition V-21004 for Craftsman Circle. The purpose of this petition is to vacate a portion of the cul-de-sac of Craftsman Circle and improved right-of-way. The total area being vacated is 10,484 square feet. Next slide, please. The subject site is located in the western portion of the Prince George's County in the town of Shirley within Planning Area 69 and Council District 5. Next slide, please. More specifically, the site outlined here in red is located on the southeast side of Baltimore-Washington Parkway, south of the intersection of Lydell Road and Schuster Drive. Next slide, please. The subject site is zoned I-1 light industrial. Next slide, please. The subject site is not within an overlay zone. Next slide, please. The site map shows the topography of the site, which is relatively flat. Next slide, please. The bird's eye view shows the approximate site boundary outlined in blue, which is the petitioner's property. Next slide, please. The master plan right-of-way map shows that the subject site is not adjacent to any master plan rights-of-way. Next slide, please. The master plan trails map shows that there is a future master plan trail crossing through parcel 1, the petitioner's property. At the time of the re-subdivision of parcel 1, a 12-foot wide easement was established on parcel 1 for the future construction of this master plan trail and its connection to Craftsman Circle. Next slide, please. The property owner and petitioner request to vacate 10,484 square feet portion of the cul-de-sac of the Craftsman Circle. The area being vacated is improved and accessible to the public. However, the portion of the cul-de-sac to be vacated only abuts the petitioner's property, and no other property will be denied access as a result of this vacation. This draft minor final plat shown in this slide highlights the area to be vacated in blue, which will be incorporated into the petitioner's property. The existing 12-foot wide access easement for the master plan trail connection is shown in gray. In order to maintain the connectivity of the future trail to the public right-of-way of Craftsman Circle, the existing 12-foot wide trail easement should be extended through the area to be vacated, which is shown in the inset on the right side of the slide and is recommended as a condition of approval in the staff report. Staff finds that the vacation petition V-21004 for Craftsman Circle complies with the provisions of Section 24-112 of the subdivision regulations as set forth in the technical staff report. Next slide, please. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of the vacation petition V-21004 for Craftsman Circle with the conditions recommended in the technical staff report. This concludes staff's presentation.
Well done, and thank you. Okay, Mr. Gingles?
Good morning, Madam Vice Chairman and members of the board. For the record, Andre Gingles, counsel for the applicant in this instance. We concur with the staff's review and the recommendation. I'd only also note for the record that my second job in the county was working for Madam Vice Chairman, and she always tried to influence me to be brief and concise when working with her. I had planned to do a rendition of The Wizard of Oz is piece on the There Goes the Bad Witch, or The Wicked Witch is Dead, a bit of a parody for the chairman who's left us, but since she's not here, I will decide not to do that and follow what Madam Vice Chairman used to express to me when I worked for her, which is be brief and get out. So thank you all, and no further discussion.
And Madam Chair is listening. Okay. All right, thank you very much. Since we have no other speakers, it's their motion.
Madam Vice Chair, well, I would have loved to have seen that, Mr. Gingles, for the record as well. And welcome to you, Ms. Van de Duus. Did I get that right? Wonderful. Madam Chair, I move that we adopt the findings of staff and approve V-21004 along with the associated condition as outlined in staff's report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Washington.
I vote aye.
Mr. Giraldo.
I vote aye, and thank you for the presentation. Very well done.
Mr. Dorner.
I vote aye, and also mention, yes, thank you. Great job on your first time. And Mr. Gingles, it's probably a good thing that you didn't get a chance to do that.
You're right.
You would have knocked your socks off, even though you don't even wear socks most of the time. It probably still would have been happen.
Someone did second. Was that you, Mr. Giraldo?
Yes, it was, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, motion carries 4-0. All righty.
Good day, all.
Thank you, Mr. Gingles. All right, the next item. Item 7. Ms. Gwen?
Yes, I'm still here, Madam Vice Chair.
Okay. Ready?
And we need to see if Mr. Gibbs and the other.
Mr. Gibbs, are you here?
Madam Vice Chair, good morning. Edward Gibbs is here. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, Ms. Gwen, you may start.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Planning Board. For the record, I am Rachel Gwynn with the Urban Design section. The item before you is item 7, detailed site plan DSP-20050 for Stevens Crossing at Brandywine. This application was continued from the March 17th Planning Board hearing to today's March 31st hearing. The application proposes 431 single-family attached dwelling units, 116 two-family attached dwelling units, and associated recreational amenities. The applicant has provided revisions to 3 conditions as shown in Applicant Exhibit 1, and staff is in full agreement. Next slide, please. The subject property is in Planning Area 85A and Council District 9. Next slide, please. Outlined in red, the 89.53-acre subject site is located north of Brandywine Road, MD 381, and its intersection with Mattawoman Drive, and south of Robert Crane Highway, US 301. Next slide, please. The site is located in the mixed-use transportation-oriented MXT zone. The site is bounded to the east by Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission owned property containing the Southern Area Aquatics and Recreation Complex SARC facility in the reserved open space zone. The properties to the south across Brandywine Road are zoned Local Activity Center and are proposed to be developed with residential uses for the villages at Timothy Branch. To the west is the proposed right-of-way of Mattawoman Drive, and beyond is a medical building in the light industrial zone approved under DSP-09011 and vacant land that will be developed as part of the Stevens Crossing mixed-use development in the MXT zone. North of Robert Crane Highway are residential developments in the residential suburban development and rural residential zones. Next slide, please. The site is partially within the military installation overlay zone for noise. Next slide, please. This aerial image shows that the subject site is mostly undeveloped with woodlands, wetlands, and several stormwater management areas on site. Next slide, please. As shown on this topographic map, the site features irregular slopes and wetland areas on the eastern half of the site associated with Timothy Branch. Next slide, please. Mattawoman Drive is a proposed master plan right-of-way arterial road and will be partially constructed as part of this DSP. Mattawoman Drive will connect to Robert Crane Highway, an existing freeway, and to Brandywine Road, an existing collector road. Cattail Way, shown at the center of the slide, is a proposed collector roadway and will be constructed from Mattawoman Drive to Missouri Avenue, an existing primary road. Next slide, please. This bird's eye view shows the overall site with the SARC facility at the top right. At the bottom right is the historic village of Brandywine. The bottom left of this slide partially shows the existing medical building and the entrance to Mattawoman Drive. Next slide, please. The subject DSP proposes 431 single-family attached dwelling units, 116 two-family attached dwelling units, and associated on-site recreational amenities. Mattawoman Drive will be partially constructed in coordination with the State Highway Administration. Cattail Way runs through the site, connecting to internal private streets and alleys, and eventually to the SARC facility and Missouri Avenue. All internal streets include 5-foot sidewalks on both sides of the street, except for Cattail Way, which includes an 8-foot shared use path on the north side of the right-of-way. The project will be phased over 5 phases, including the construction of internal roads, residential units, and recreation facilities. Next slide, please. This slide shows a typical example of the landscape design for the site, which demonstrates general conformance with the Prince George's County Landscape Manual standards and the requirements of previous approvals, except for a few technical corrections noted on pages 18 and 36 of the staff report. Next slide, please. The proposal includes 10 recreational facilities located throughout the site, including tot and preteen lots, 8-foot and 6-foot wide shared use paths, and a clubhouse. All recreation facilities include seating areas and bike racks. The applicant provided staff with appropriate building permit triggers for the construction of recreation facilities, and a condition has been included to add these as notes to the plan. Next slide, please. 2 monument signs are proposed for the development. The main sign shown at the top of this slide will be located at the intersection of Mattawoman Drive and Brandywine Road. The smaller sign shown at the bottom left of this slide will be at the intersection of Cattail Way and Missouri Avenue. At the bottom right of this slide is the proposed historic and interpretive signage, which will consist of 2 signs located along the shared use paths. A condition has been included for the applicant to finalize the text of these signs in coordination with historic preservation staff. Next slide, please. The next few slides will show renderings of the proposed residential units. 8 townhouse models are proposed and range from 1,741 square feet to 2,339 square feet in base finished floor area. The townhouse models include 1 or 2 car garages and come in front or rear loaded options. The image shown here is townhouse model Strauss D, which is 2,285 square feet and is front loaded with a 1-car garage. All street frontages will have at least 60% brick facades, and a brick tracking chart has been included on the drawing. Next slide, please. Here we see the side and rear elevations of the standard Strauss D and the Strauss D with attic. All models come with multiple variations, including gabled roofs, bay windows, dormers, awnings, decks, lofts, and other architectural features. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Strauss E model, which is 2,034 square feet and is rear loaded with a 2-car garage. This model also has an option for an attic as shown on the right of this slide. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Schubert D model, which is the largest model at 2,339 square feet and is front loaded with a 2-car garage. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Schubert E model, which is the second largest model at 2,337 square feet and is rear loaded with a 2-car garage. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Mendelssohn E on the right and the Mendelssohn D on the left, which are 1,917 square feet and 1,978 square feet, respectively. The Mendelssohn E model is rear loaded with a 2-car garage, and the Mendelssohn D model is front loaded with a 1-car garage. Next slide, please. This slide shows the Mozart D on the right, Mozart E on the right and Mozart D on the left, which are 1,741 square feet and 1,916 square feet, respectively. Mozart E is rear loaded with a 2-car garage, and Mozart D is front loaded with a 1-car garage. Next slide, please. This slide shows the 2-family attached models, which are the Matisse and Picasso, and are 1,606 square feet and 2,481 square feet, respectively. These units are rear loaded with a 1-car garage. Next slide, please. A Type 2 Tree Conservation Plan, TCP2, was submitted with the DSP and indicates that woodland conservation requirements will be met by a combination of on-site preservation, on-site afforestation, and off-site woodland conservation credits. 2 specimen trees are proposed to be removed as part of this DSP in addition to the specimen tree removals as approved in Preliminary Plan of Subdivision PPS 4-11004. Primary Management Area PMA impacts 1, 8, 10, and 11 approved under PPS 4-11004 and impact 13 approved under PPS 4-15011 have been adjusted, and 1 additional PMA impact is proposed under this DSP. The environmental planning section requires technical corrections to the TCP2 and otherwise finds the proposal acceptable. Next slide, please. The DSP plans require technical corrections, including the removal of 1 lot on the west side of the development, correction to site plan notes, revisions to the landscape and lighting plans, and corrections to the notes and calculations on the TCP2. With that, the urban design section recommends that the planning board adopt the findings and conditions of the technical staff report and approve detailed site plan DSP-20050 and TCP2-008-2017-01 for Stevens Crossing at Brandywine. As stated previously, the applicant has provided revisions to conditions and staff is in full agreement. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Ms. Quinn. Mr. Gibbs?
Madam Vice Chair.
Are there any questions? I'm sorry.
That's better. Ms. Quinn, thank you. You noted your concurrence with the applicant exhibit number 1. However, we received 2 versions of that in our backup that are substantially the same with the exception of condition number 5. So please clarify which you are agreeing to.
Yes, the condition number 5, which states the residential units approved, and then the rest of the condition, that is the one that we are in support of.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions? Okay, now Mr. Gibbs.
Thank you. Good morning, Vice Chair Bailey, members of the Planning Board. Happy to be here this morning. Edward Gibbs on behalf of the owner and applicant in this detailed site plan, which is before you today. Let me just say a few words about this project. First of all, the project is quite large. It is 170 acres. Its history has been complicated, which is the reason why we have a preliminary plan that was approved in 2014, and we're just getting to the detailed site plan. There have been substantial wetland impacts, in particular in the area to the east of Timothy Branch, which traverses this property in a north-south direction over right by the SARC facility which you see in the upper right-hand corner of the aerial photograph, which is before you on the screen. And that has just resulted in incredible delays. An additional issue has been the massive infrastructure improvements which are present on this property. Just for Mattawoman Drive alone, which is the last section of the spine road, which is going to bring about a connection from Brandywine Road all the way up to US 301, which is really, really important and very substantial. But the combination of the construction of Mattawoman Drive and the construction of Cattail Way is about a $15 million infrastructure investment. And it's been difficult to work out phasing for the construction of those roadways. And in point of fact, you will recall that approximately just a little over a month ago, you approved a reconsideration request, which we had filed to change the phasing for the construction of Cattail. And without that change in phasing, we wouldn't be able to be here today. So we very much appreciate that change so that we had a phasing plan that would work and allow this project to go forward. In addition to these townhouse and 2/2 units, which is all we have before us today, we have approval for 300,000 square feet of commercial space and for up to 800 multifamily units. Those will be the subject of future detailed site plans. So with that being said, we support the staff, and I can't. First of all, I was very saddened to hear that Ms. Gwynn is going to be leaving. She's been, just a really good person to work with. She's so thorough, really smart, tackles the issues, but brings everybody together. And so it's, as we all know, it's a huge loss to see her leave, but certainly happy for her moving forward to get with the National Park Service. That's a great opportunity as well, but we'll certainly miss her here. But in any event, we appreciate the ability to work with your staff with all sections. And we did have just those three. There are more clarifications to those conditions, and thankfully staff is in agreement. So I'm not going to spend any time going through those, but they are more clarifications. And so with that being said, we support the staff recommendation and certainly would request your favorable consideration. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Are there any other questions? Are there any other speakers with Mr. Gibbs that would like to?
Madam Vice Chair, everyone
Yes.
we have signed up is here just on the off chance that there may be a question.
Questions? Okay, thank you. And are there any questions?
I have a question, Madam Chair. This is
Yes.
Commissioner Giraldo. Mr.
Yes.
Gibbs, this is a really large project, and I was wondering, and I could see that there's a lot of natural trail and everything being planned at 8 foot. Has any consideration, given the size of the project, and since it's going to be a walkable community, has there been any consideration to putting up doggy waste stations?
Yeah, Commissioner Giraldo, I first of all, I would welcome that as an additional condition. We have numerous trail connections, 5 foot wide, 8 foot wide. We're building an access road into the SARC facility that will have an 8 foot wide concrete side path next to it. And so I think your suggestion for that condition is one that we would welcome and we think is truly appropriate. So yes.
So you're proffering that as a condition? So
I would like
Okay.
to proffer that as a condition to have those dog stations at intermittent points along the trail system. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. No further questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any additional questions?
Yes, Commissioner Dorner has a question, Madam Vice Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Gibbs, I was noticing on the drawings on the slides that you've got some renditions of like playground equipment or recreational amenities. And I wanted to make one question right there. In that middle column, since this is a large development, as Commissioner Giraldo had mentioned, the swings at the bottom, would it be possible to consider like an ADA adaptive swing to be added into those four, which would allow young children, infants, to be more securely attached in there, particularly those who have disabilities. And I say that because I have a daughter who has like limited muscular development, and having her be able to swing next to my son it just puts a big smile on her face. And unfortunately, she can't swing in swings like that and in most other playgrounds unless they have particularly those swings. And it's just, all it is it's just like a thing that kind of secures them, and it's like a bucket seat basically.
Yes, yes, Commissioner, we think that your recommendation there is not just thoughtful but important, and we would proffer an additional condition to add that ADA compliance with the swings into the recreational facilities. And thank you for making that suggestion.
I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Dorner. Any other additional questions? If not, we'll entertain the motion.
Madam Vice Chair, I move that we adopt the findings of staff to include the technical corrections as identified by Ms. Quinn, and approve DSP-20050 and TCP2-008-2017-01, along with the associated conditions as outlined in staff's report and as further modified by applicant exhibit number 1, and also include the two proffered conditions by the applicant. One, to include doggy stations at intermittent points in the development, as well as ensuring ADA compliant swing sets in the recreation area.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Ms. Washington?
Vote aye.
Mr. Giraldo?
Vote aye. Did we approve the type 2 tree? I'm sorry.
Yes, we did.
Okay, thank you. Vote aye.
Mr. Dorner? Did I call on you before? Okay. So we have motion carries for nothing. All righty. I think.
Thank you very much. I appreciate everyone's time and attention. Thanks once again, Ms. Gwynn. Take care.
Thank you, Ms. Gwynn. Do well on your journey, and we'll see you later. Okay. All right, I think we finished for today, and thank you everyone for being patient and understanding as we go through this transition. Meeting adjourned.